JRTV is back here at the North Carolina Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina for the third race of the 2002 NASCAR Winston Cup Series season. We are here for the Subway 400. Lathan Strickland on pole for this one. We'll see who gets it done after 79 laps of action around this just over 1 mile racetrack. I'm Joe Rakowski, alongside me, Trey Bardo in the booth. And Trey, this is a driver's racetrack here in Rockingham, North Carolina. It is a unique racetrack, nothing like it in the world. So how can the drivers find a way to get around it in a fast manner?
I mean, you got to be better than everyone else, right? You got to be the one to figure out how to drive it. I mean, I don't know if there's a much better explanation than what I just said there. It is definitely very unique in its own way, which is why, I mean, everyone really wants to win here.
And I will say, someone who's figured it out so far this weekend, Lathan Strickland. Trey, yesterday in practice, fastest there. Yesterday in qualifying, set that car in the pole in that number 15 Coca-Cola Chevrolet. So Trey, is it Lathan's day here today? Can he sweep the weekend, practice, qualifying, and then the race?
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's lined up to be with it, and almost, I'd want to say, so does his, teammates there, with Eli Bryant only 2 rows behind him, and Hernandez is in the middle of the pack. But, I mean, that's all right, though. But, I mean, so far, this 15 just looks like he can't be beat.
It does, but watch for some of the underdogs that are starting up inside the top 10. Ronald Kennington put his Jasper car inside the top 5, starting in 4th. His teammate Jack Haas also made this race, so both those cars qualified well. They'll be in the race and running probably towards the front here with, Kennington 4th. Jack Haas not starting too bad, just outside the top 20. Evan Hunter, the 36 for MB2, put his car inside the top 10. Watch for him in 6th place. Nolan Lawrence for Evernham. He'll be starting in 8th, and then also watch for the rookie Hunter Reed, put his car in the number 45 inside the top 10. So, Trey, could this be a day where maybe one of the underdogs scores an upset, someone like Kennington, Hunter, Lawrence, or even Hunter Reed?
I mean, it definitely could be, but Joe, I mean, let's be honest, this isn't one of the tracks where we really see an upset win. I mean, those are more like, road courses or super speedway type tracks, but hey, if it gets done here, I mean, that just kind of shows that whoever ends up taking it, if they're in the underdog role, that they might have something to prove.
It would be cool to see something like that, or maybe it could be someone who's looking for a rebound on their season, someone like Chris Jericho or Keyshawn Richardson, both of which are outside the top 30 in points. Hard to believe that, especially for Jericho's case, but they both start well here today. Richardson in 11th, Jericho in 2nd. They are looking to try and rebound after a dismal first 2 races in this season. Once again, the season is young still. No need to panic quite yet, but the drivers definitely want to get their footing to try and move their way back up the points there, especially for, Jericho, who won the championship last season. Not the way he's wanted that championship defense to go so far. And another team that's really looking for some footing here so far this season is Hendrick Motorsports. After adding that 4th car, that number 48, they have kind of struggled these first 2 races, and they've struggled here at Rockingham. Not much pace in practice, and in qualifying, none of them are sitting inside the top 10. Their highest starting car is Keegan Thompson in 14th. He's the only Hendrick car inside the top 20 to start. The others are towards the back. Brett Sierra and the number 40 of Jay Renda both qualified outside the top 30, and Zidell actually failed inspection of the 24. He'll start back there. So, Trey, what is it with Hendrick so far this season?
Maybe they're still just getting used to having that 4th car in the shops. I mean, stuff's probably a lot more cramped now. It's not just the 3 of them. There's more, information that needs to be passed around from teammate to teammate, and crew chief to crew chief and all that stuff. So, you know what? I'm not surprised to see this little bit of a hiccup at the beginning of the season. I think halfway through and near the end of it, they'll definitely start to pick it up more.
We'll see if that does come true. Keegan Thompson, though, starting pretty well. We'll see if that number 5 can move his way to the front. He's done well here in the past, especially back in that 2000 season where he contended for the championship all the way down to the wire. As we look at the Ford Fast Facts here for the Subway 400 at Rockingham, it is a cloudy, kind of dreary day here in Rockingham, North Carolina. Only 56 degrees, so it's kind of chilly for the fans in the stands there. 4 miles an hour wind in the west direction. It's a 79-lap race, 80.343 miles, because the track has a unique shape and a unique length. And the fuel window, 42 to 48 laps. The tires get eaten up here at Rockingham, so expect for the drivers to maybe want to come in right around, lap 40 before the fuel window gets hit, right? Come in right at midway so that you can try and pit, do an undercut, get those tires, and get out to the front of the field. We've seen some crazy strategies when it stays green here in the past in Rockingham. The track is 1.017 miles in length. There's 22 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2, 25 degrees in turns 3 and 4, and 8 degrees on the straightaways. 1965 is when the track opened, and it held its first race in 1981. It's the 43rd Rockingham race in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Roush swept the races here last season, with Jordan Stout winning this one, and then Zachary DeLello winning the one later in the season. And in that race DeLello won, Roush actually got a 1-2-3 with their other driver Jordan Stout also finishing inside the top 10. So the Fords, especially the Roush Fords, they are fast here. They qualified decently well here today with, DeLello Richardson just outside the top 10, Jordan Stout inside the top 20, Matthew Burnett out towards the front in third place. We'll see if Roush can get back to victory lane at Rockingham for their third straight win here at this racetrack. But it's about time to get going and underway to fire the engines up. Let's go on the track side to fire these cars up for the third race of the 2002 NASCAR Winston Cup Series season.
Drivers, start your engines!
42 cars are rolling for what's going to be a short pace lap here at Rockingham. Let's do a few quick updates. Someone like Mitchell Collins in this number 12 tray, kind of a middle of the top of the tier teams, right? Mitchell Collins, Zach Fitzroy Sr. for Penske, both qualified inside the top 15 on the inside road to start. Will that be something good for them here today at Rockingham?
I mean, if they can get off to a good start here, I definitely think they can move their way up in the pack. But Joe, that's one of the trickiest things is, on these starts of this race is we're going to make up majority of your ground. Once everyone gets spread out, it's kind of hard to, so we'll have to see what they can do.
We will have to see. That's a team to watch for, though. They look fast in practice. They look fast in qualifying. But someone to watch out for is Lathan Strickland, fastest in practice and qualifying. He'll lead the field to the green flag for the Subway 400 here at Rockingham. Jericho to his outside. The green flag is waving, and we're underway at the Rock. They had looked 3 wide into turn 3. Luckily, Hunter got down to the inside. It wasn't quite 3 wide there. But to lead the first lap, it is that number 15, Lathan Strickland. Matthew Burnett up to second. Eli Bright to third. Jericho from the outside in second place, back to fourth, and maybe even back to fifth. But he's going to try and get in line in front of Justin Atkins. And it looks like a little bit 3 wide further back there as they race down into turns 3 and 4. But mostly double foul throughout the field trays. They race through 3 and 4. Still Strickland, but here comes Burnett right to the back.
Is he going to be able to make a move going down into one here? He's peeking. He's going to go for it. Not quite yet, Joe, but Joe, the 17's all over the back of Lathan Strickland here, so he's got to be wondering if he's trying to plan out a move or if he's comfortable at the moment.
Eli's over the back of Matthew Burnett, so if that 17's faster than the 15, is the 8 also faster than the 17, or is the 15 the slowest of the 3? We're going to find out as the run goes on, but also, as mentioned, before the race started, tire wear means so much here, so it's possible a car might not fire off that well, but be really good later in the run because it saved its tires and it's faster now on the worn tires.
Yeah, it's definitely something you're going to see here is, some of these guys further back in the pack, they're not really able to push their car as much, so they're going to be saving tires and, come near pit stops, those guys are going to be moving to the front here and putting themselves in better positions. So it'll be really interesting to see what the different strategies are and how these drivers, drive their race until we come up to those pit stops.
And you would say, too, that the weather possibly playing a big role in this, too, right? Because it's very cold, just over 50 degrees. It's very cloudy here at Rockingham, so there's definitely a lot of grip in this racetrack. So corner speeds are up. It could be a little bit harder to make these passes work.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to make a pass work, you might either, have to use a little bit of a bumper or you're just going to have to force your way to the inside. Or, I mean, even with, more traction, you might be able to use the outside here. So we'll have to see how these drivers get creative here if they do get that opportunity to. But at the moment, I mean, we're pretty single file. I'd say all the way back to, 20th?
Yeah, about 20th place or so. They're kind of just, scattered out single file, but the front of the field is jamming up. I think Lathan Strickland, the slowest of the drivers, maybe even in the top 7 or top 10. He's kind of holding these guys up, and it's allowing a train to form behind him. That's when you know that someone might not be the fastest at the front of the line. It's Strickland, then Burnett, Bright and Jericho and Atkins. Then you have Hunter and Richardson joining the line. And then right behind the top 7, here comes Fitzwater and Stout. And then here comes Sproge, and here comes the other DEI car, Anthony Hernandez. He qualified outside the top 20, but Trey's moving up now just outside the top 10 to 11th place. And right behind him, winner of the last race, Sebastian Kukulon, that number 29 car.
That's a very unique scheme for that 29.
It is. So last season they had a scheme for Conrad Evans where the number on the roof was the wrong way when it arrived at the racetrack, and they kind of got some jokes from the garage about it, and I think that the sponsors kind of said, well, let's have another joke and we'll make it on ourselves this time. So they kind of brought out a very unique paint scheme.
Yeah, it's very vibrant colors, but hey, I mean, if it works, right? But so far, Joe, I mean, either Lathan Strickland has more of a long-run car, or these guys just can't figure out how to get past him here.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Eli had a look there in Burnett, but can't get by him. Lathan Strickland, though, just kind of hugging that white line, not moving up off the bottom. It's working so far for him. Burnett cannot get enough of a run to get by him, and likewise, Eli cannot get enough of a run to get by Burnett. And then same for Jericho, same for Atkins right behind, and Evan Hunter, Keyshawn Richardson. The whole line is kind of just scattered up right now here, right onto the back of each other. Just can't find a way to get by, and Strickland holds up the line on the inside lane. He's going to lead his 11th lap of the race here in the Subway 400 at Rockingham. Single file, Burnett right to the back of Strickland, but once again, not enough of a run to make the move work. He'll stay right in line off turn 2 and down the back straightaway, looking for some way to find a pass on this number 15 of Lathan Strickland as they race into turns 3 and 4 again.
This is almost like a super speedway type of deal, where one guy kind of controls an entire line, and I mean, really,
there he goes.
Oh, never mind.
Matthew Burnett finally got that run and finally got it to stick on the inside. Matthew Burnett leads off to first lead change of the day, and it's Roush back out in front at Rockingham.
The real question is, where's Lathan going to be able to get back down at? Because I mean, he created such a big train behind him here that there's not going to be really many open gaps, if there is any at all. And Joe, Eli Bright's all over the back of the 17 now.
He is right on the back of Burnett into turns 1 and 2. Strickland can't get in third. He might get in line fourth, though. Atkins not get through 1 and 2 well, and there goes Strickland into fourth place. Keyshawn Richardson gets by Evan Hunter for sixth right there. Smooth the 99 up a spot, the 36 down a spot. Fitzwater trying to join in on that. Stout has his hands full with Anthony Hernandez, and then they have their hands full with Sebastian Kukulon and Zachary DeLello, winner of the last race here. So right now, Trey, Roush Racing starting to come to the front. They have some pretty fast hot rods.
Isn't that number on the 29 facing the right way?
It is now, yeah. But the scheme itself is just not normal.
No, is it sponsored by RCR themselves?
Well, it's actually funny, right? On the front and rear of the car, it says, "Hey, Fitzy, we think you suck," or something along the lines of that.
NASCAR allowed that?
Yeah.
How does Fitzy feel about it?
Well, I don't. Has he seen it yet? I don't know. He might see it soon, though, because he's on the outside lane. Hernandez gets by him. DeLello's getting by him, and there's that number 29.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess we'll have to see if Fitzy, one, can read it while he's going 150 plus miles an hour down a straightaway, right? And two, if he does see it, how is he going to react to it?
Yeah, if he's going to just turn into the 29 or something, I don't know. But he's look at Kukulon's right in the back of him. If Fitzwater's looking in his mirror, he could probably see it.
Hey, you can't read. That's backwards, though, in the mirror. You can't read that.
That's true, yeah. So that 29's got to pass him and then let the two right. Oh, there he goes.
There it is.
Kukulon moving to the inside of Fitzwater, and that message might get delivered as Eli Bright's looking for the lead into turn 3. Not enough of a run.
Joey, look who's kind of just snaking their way in third place. Well, I mean, 29 made the pass, but
he left him in the
Fitzy.
dust.
Yeah, he gapped Fitzy, so I don't think he's going to be able to read that right now. But the one that's getting a really good view is this 9 car right here.
Yeah, that Laura Chung, haven't really talked about her much this season so far, but she's quietly making her way up here at Rockingham, and so far having a decent race for where she qualified. As the battle for that lead, still Burnett leading Eli Bright, but I think the 8 definitely faster. Look at all over the back bumper. Matthew Burnett looking for a way around. And Trey, I think right now, lap 20, let's do the Advanced Auto Parts question of the week right now.
I'm ready.
All right, so last week we had asked, were you a fan of
pass for the lead?
Pass for the lead. Eli's looking low on Burnett. I don't think he had the run, though, so it's not going to stick, and he will get back in line. But last week we asked, are you a fan of the proposed Atlanta reconfiguration of the racetrack? It going to a quad oval, much like the Texas and Lowe's Motor Speedways. And Trey, you had said yes, get some variety in it. It should still be a good race. Atlanta's still a very good racetrack, and the fans mostly agreed with you. We had 71% say yes, they were a fan, and they are excited to see the changes coming.
So, I'm 2-0.
Well, 1-1. You didn't agree with the fans on the first one.
What was the first one again?
The first one was which off-season move was going to be the best.
Oh, well, we don't know.
We don't
if
know,
I'm
but
right or not.
yeah, but it goes off of if you're right with
Oh.
the fans or not. That's what we
Oh.
always.
Well, then you know what? When I'm right by the end of the season, the fans will apologize.
There you go. So this week we're focusing on the man in second for a good reason, because it's kind of about him. Of the winless drivers from 2001, which will score a win this season first? Will it be Justin Seidel, Eli Bright, Conrad Evans, or that number 30 car of Justin Atkins?
So it's what? How many of those guys would it be their first win?
Well, Eli would be his first win, and then Atkins would be his first win.
Eli's in a good position here. It really comes down to the race has to go their way. I mean, I could definitely see Eli
Oh, there he
going for the
goes!
lead here. I could definitely see him getting his win. That's not just because he's in the lead right now, but because, I mean, Joe, he's shown a lot of speed recently.
He has shown a lot of speed. DI as a whole, really, this season so far, has shown a lot of speed in these first three races. Eli moves out in front lap number 24, so that'll be our third different leader of the day.
Gapped him.
And he gapped Burnett and Jericho both at 8, trying to drive away. And Trey, there's a reason we picked those 4 for the question. They were the 4 highest in points last season without visiting victory lane in 2001.
That makes a lot more sense. But I'm gonna have to go with this DEI group because I mean, Joe, they've shown speed so far, and I mean they're gonna be in the fight for it.
We're focusing on the 5th highest man in points last season without a win. That's Anthony Hernandez in that number 1 car. He's a miracle of Zachary DeLello, that number 97, moving up nicely. As right now, Roush Racing, they are 2nd, 5th, 7th, and 9th. So once again, Trey, here at Rockingham, they know how to bring their race package. And look at even Keyshawn Richardson looking for 4th on Justin Atkins, the sophomore, right on the back, but can't find a way around him.
Did you just say Hernandez started mid-pack?
He did. He started around
And
21st, 23rd.
He's well inside the top 10 now.
Yep, he is currently in 8th place, so he's moved up about 15 or so spots. That's very impressive for a track like Rockingham.
He's got to be leading the most laps or most passes made so far, right? I mean, that's a crazy amount to think about.
This man might. Matt, as well as that number 20, is up to 16th. Trey, he had a dismal qualifying result. He was the 2nd slowest car here. He actually started in 40th place, and now he's up to 15th. So he's moved up 25 positions from the start.
Well, I mean, that tells you one of two things. Either they know how to drive this track or they're really using their stuff up right now.
Well, Mathis is no stranger from coming from the back of the field and moving up to the front. He won a race at Texas back in 2000 just like that, and he's done it, last season he failed inspection, came from the back to the front and finished well in races where, it's a little bit harder to pass. So, yeah, Mathis Wells definitely has experience doing that, but currently, even Justin Seidel started back in 42nd last place because of the inspection failures. He's moved up inside the top 20. Just behind him is Conrad Evans at number 31. Keegan Thompson has dropped from his starting spot. He was the highest starting Hendrick car, currently running 23rd. In fact, the highest running Hendrick cars right now, Justin Seidel in 20th place, because there's Jay Rando. He's made up some spots in 25th. Back here with actually Ronald Kennington, who started up inside the top 5. Jacob Miller having a very solid day for that CLR Racing team, currently at 26. They, haven't had much speed and shown some decent race pace here. Chip Ganassi Racing has moved up nicely from their starting spots with Williams in 27th, Beal, who was the slowest car in qualifying, in 28th. Right behind him, Luke Rainey moving up as Brett Searer, though the lowest Hendrick car, Trey, fading back in that number 25 outside the top 30 as there goes that 21 by him. And here comes Stapleton and some others.
I didn't even know that was Brett Sear. I thought that was Nolan Lawrence from last season.
It kind of does, yeah, but this is the new Southwest paint scheme for Brett Searer, that number 25.
That's a different look for that 25.
It is, but I like it. It's different because he's
gives
normally
me-
had like kind of 1 or 2 paint schemes throughout his career so far.
Yeah, it gives me like very happy vibes from the dark colors they're normally used to on that car.
Yeah, these are very
So, you
bright
know what?
and cheerful.
Though with how it's going right now, they might want to go back to what they were running.
Yeah, so far it's not a bright and cheerful day for Brett Searer in that number 25, and right behind him, Hunter Reed started inside the top 10. He's kind of bound with him right now, and back there, Jack Haas has dropped from his starting spot to his outside is that number 49, Colin Teague, his first race of the season, missed the first 2, so good to see him here racing, but it's not going the way he wanted to. His inside Diglia Pez. Right behind that's Baby Ruiz, who started inside the top 20. You have that the teammates actually, Oskin and Orman, kind of running together, and then Nathan Bader's not having a good day or a good season so far for that Bill Davis Racing number 22. And then our Daytona 500 winner, Jordan Edwards, currently back in 42nd, so he's having a rough go here at Rockingham.
Which is very strange to say for Jordan Edwards, but I mean, we don't know what's going on with that car at the moment, so it might be an issue, but we'll have to see. And Joe, I mean, Eli's out to 2 seconds right now.
He is up to 2 seconds and still growing, and this is on the long run, right? Because we're only about 8 laps away or so from these scheduled green flag pit stops. So Eli in the long run is moving, but he has, his crew has to make sure, right? If the 17 or 18 comes down pit road, the 8 cannot be too far behind them if he's not the first to come in. Because if they, they come in a lap or even 2 earlier, and then Eli, stays out there for 2 laps, they could probably pass him because of the better tires.
So Eli just jumped up almost 3/10 on that last lap alone.
He did. He's flying.
Well, you know what? Honestly, if I'm the 8 crew right now, whenever we come in, I'm not changing a single thing on this car because, Joe, they were fast from the start of the race, and they're even faster now. I mean, Joe, he jumped up almost another, almost another 3/10 that lap again.
Yeah, it was about 2.5 tenths or so right there, up to 2.4. But this is one big pack of cars, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th, all under a blanket, led by Evan Hunter and Zachary DeLello. Then Laura Chung, Mathis Wells still moving up from his poor qualifying result. Then you have Mitchell Collins, Tim Gary, that number 10. Haven't really called Tim's name this season, but he's moving up nicely, that number 10, and right to his inside, Nolan Lawrence in the number 19. So this is one scrappy battle here for a top 10 spot held by Evan Hunter currently. And then another scrappy battle for 4th. Atkins holding off the Roush cars of Richardson and Stout. Our pollster, Lathan Strickland, back here. Then Anthony Hernandez, his teammate. And then that number 29, Sebastian Kukulon. There are battles all over this racetrack, but it's not at the front of the field. Currently, Eli Bright pulling away by 2.5 to 3 tenths every lap.
Joe, this RCR switch so far really seems like it's working because, I mean, it's just 3 races in a row where at least 2 out of the 3 cars have been competitive.
Exactly. Yeah, it looks like
I
so
think
far it's working out.
All 3 times Atkins was up in that group too.
I think so, as it looks like. Here we go. So this is right, like, kind of on the edge of making it. Jericho leads a group of cars in. These drivers going for the undercut. The problem is they've gone 38 green flag laps straight. They have to go 41 to make it the distance on fuel. So, are they pushing their luck, or do they have it basically figured out that they can go that distance? They're just going to come in now.
They might be pushing their luck, but I mean, you can see the response from the 8 and the 17 there, but Justin is going to be the only car out.
Well, remember, lap led 5 bonus points. That team may be thinking of that more so than trying to get him into pit road there.
I'll be curious to see where he comes out of this. But
yeah.
Does he come in this time, or does he go another time?
I would hope he comes in this time, right? Because he was holding up that line of cars for 4th, so really with him staying out here, he's probably going to fall back to 9th or 10th.
That's still top 10, though.
It is, but he's going to have some work to do if because he was the slowest of that group is kind of the point. But also staying out was Logan Williams. He's now in. His teammate Brandon Beal stayed out. Jacob Miller had stayed out. There is Jericho. He came in the soonest of anyone of the front runners. We had some others that were towards the back that came in earlier than even Jericho. But there's that 18 coming out. There's the 8. Eli Bright staying out in the lead. The 18 jumped the 17. And then I think that's the 19 jumping the 17 as well. So Nolan Lawrence came in early. It's working out for him. But there's Eli Bright, the 8. He still has the lead over Chris Jericho. They've lapped Nathan Baird, the 22. And Eli's going to assume the lead now as he gets to the start-finish line. And will pass Justin Atkins as the 30 now leaves pit road.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how big of a lead he gets to start out with here. It looks like, about 2 seconds or so, give or take. So, I mean, we'll have to see what the speed is of Eli Bright coming off of the pit roads and if it grows again.
That was not good for Justin Atkins.
They had to have had some sort of problem on pit road.
Yeah, and you have to assume, since he came in late, there's a lot of congestion, right? There's probably a lot of cars leaving pit road there because he came in the lap after all the people did. So you have to wonder, getting to his pit stall, if he was just slower, right? And Atkins has fallen now from 4th place at the start of pit cycles to now 22nd as Jose Mills passed him a loss of 18 positions in that pit cycle for that number 30 team.
Wow, that really makes you wonder if it was worth the 5 extra bonus points.
Yeah, well, the 5 extra bonus points, he lost a lot more than 5 points with that move right there. That's all I'm going to say.
That's why I asked that. That's why I said it really makes you wonder.
Yeah, I'm wondering right now too. But up here, how about this? Mathis Wells, Trey, from 40th, now top 10 or so. As actually, he's going to be 11th now because Tim Garrett also passed Jordan Stout, so he'll be 11th. But knocking on the door tray of that top 10. This number 20 car has been outstanding here today. His teammate Chris Jericho up in second place within a second of Eli Bright the race there, but still losing that gap to Eli as the 8 tries to cruise away. Laura Chung under fire from Tim Gary as the Evernham cars both pitted early. It's worked out for both of them, moved them inside the top 10, but not for long because now Mathis Wells up to 10th, Gary to 9th, Chung back to 11th, but Lawrence, Chung's teammate, currently up in 3rd place.
Yeah, this 20 is on an absolute rocker right now, but I mean, Joe, they're pretty far back from the leaders, so it makes you wonder if they're going to be able to catch up in time. I mean, there's still quite a few laps left. Anything could happen still, but I mean, it's going to be a big battle, and here are some 2 DEI teammates battling here now. That was really close.
Oh, that's too close for comfort if you're Dale Lightning, you know, wherever he's watching the race, whether it be back in the garage or on a pit box or something, but Dale Lightning probably was not too pleased with what he just saw on his TV screen right there.
No, I don't think I'd be too pleased either. I don't know. There it goes. Okay, that's a little better.
That is better. Pass him. Don't try and run through him. Right there goes Strickland. He'll get by his teammate Hernandez to move his way back up inside the top 5. So Strickland, remember, started on pole, dominated the opening about 11 laps of this race, but once he fell back, never could regain the lost ground. As now they move and swap positions 5th and 6th. But for Dale Lighting, he has to love the day he's had so far. He's had 2 cars lead laps here today, and all 3 of them running inside the top 6. DEI has found some pace here in this 2002 season to start.
What DEI has, out of all the laps so far, maybe hasn't led only, what, a handful? 5, 6, 7 maybe?
Yeah, whatever Matthew Burnett led in that kind of middle point, probably about 10 or so. That Lathan to Eli, and then obviously the lap that Atkins led. But yeah, otherwise it's been all DEI here today at Rockingham, trying to break a winless streak for Eli Brace. Ever won in the Winston Cup Series, and now he's coming back around to 30 goals. Still lots of time left, though, for, you know, things to change in this race. A yellow flag, or, you know, there's also lap traffic to play its hand in this. Jordan Edwards about to go lap down, as we saw Nathan Baird already lap down the 22. That currently leaves us 41 cars on the lead lap, and Jacob Miller lost ground on those pit stops. Same with Baby Ruiz. Yeah, Pez is back there. Brandon Beal had a slow stop. He's back in 37th as we look up through the running order. Brett Sear didn't really gain any off that. He's currently in the 29th position, just past, I think it was Jack Carter in that number 21 for his spot. Evans is back in 25th. So, Trey, there's a lot of variety throughout the field. A lot of these bigger names currently outside the top 20 here at Rockingham.
You know, it's crazy to think that Eli is stuck behind this 83, and he's still gaining a 10th to 2/10 a lap.
And I think that also shows, right, Jericho came in sooner than any one of the front runners, right? So he has worse tires. That 1 lap on tires just does that much in terms of, you know, pace fall off.
And Joe, again, it's got to come back to this weather, right? I mean, these cars are running a lot faster than they're probably used to just because of how much grip's out there. So, I mean, we really don't know how much wear is going on these tires, because I don't remember the last time where it's been this cloudy here and this cold.
Yeah, it's not been a good day for the fans in the stands. They're probably a little bit chilly with, you know, hoodies and jackets on, but
at least our booth is heated.
Our booth is nice and heated up here. I really do like it up here. But I do want to give a shout out to MB2 Motorsports. We were talking about Evan Hunter, how good his run was going so far here at Rockingham, but Tim Gary's moved up nicely, and both cars are inside the top dozen, with Gary up to 8th and Evan Hunter in 11th. MB2 has also found some pace to start the season with both of their cars running strong in races. And, you know, last season we had talked about, you know, Tim's very fast here or there, but Evan at points would kind of falter. But now it looks like both cars can run kind of together so far these first 3 races.
That's good, though, right? I mean, that's a
very
good thing to look forward to. Last season, they kind of showed, you know, their bright spots here and there. You know, it was never really together, though. It was either one car was really fast or the other one was, or neither of them were, right? It was never, hey, both of these cars are, you know, in charge of this field. But, I mean, this season, it seems like they've been pretty consistent near each other, and majority of the time, it's in the front half of the field.
That's great to see for MB2 Motorsports. They're definitely on the rise here. And speaking of on the rise, Lathan Strickland is coming back. They must have made some adjustments in that number 15 for the longer run here, because Matthew Burnett, who was stalking him that whole first half of the race, he just passed him there in that number 15. So Strickland up to 4th, got by Burnett, who's back in 5th. Hernandez still in 6th. The battle has closed up for 2nd place. Nolan Lawrence is gaining on Chris Jericho, looking for a 2nd spot. Jericho, you know, maybe the tires, or maybe do you think they didn't get it full of fuel? Because remember, he came in before the midway point, so he could be questionable. Is he maybe close on fuel and maybe needing to save some to make it to the end of this race?
I mean, now would be the time to start to try to save something. or try to plan your end of this race here, because majority of these guys are planning on it going green right to the end.
Absolutely.
So they're going to start to go into a saving mode. But the real question is it going to go green?
That is the big question, because there's still over 20 laps to go, and there's still battling happening throughout this
Look
field.
at this.
Yeah, this is a mess of cars. 7 cars in Eli's windshield right now, and I mean, he's pulled away to a 3-second gap, so I think he's wisely just rode behind Ed. Oh, yellow is out, though. Yellow is out.
Oh my goodness! What did we say, Joe?
Laura
What
Chung.
did I jinx it?
Laura
Did I
Chung
jinx it?
and Justin Zeidel were crashed in turn 1, and this is not what Eli Bright was looking for.
Did I jinx it?
Now,
I don't
here's
think
the
I
question.
did.
Trey, with how bad the tire fall off here is, you're going to have about 16, 17 laps to go. Do you pit?
I don't know. I'm not a crew chief. I was always just told what to do.
Jericho is coming in. Nolan Lawrence. Are they leaving
my
Eli
God.
Bright out to
Oh.
dry?
Oh,
No. Oh, this is Trey. This is going to be. This could be the restart of the season.
There still a decent amount of cars in between Eli Bright and everyone else who came in, but there's quite a few cars out there.
With the tire fall off, this is going to be a show on
There's
this
quite
restart.
a few cars. I don't. We'll have to see. You have to think 4 tires, right?
Four tires. If you're
are
coming
cool.
in, you have to take 4 here.
Jericho's got 2 up,
There goes
2 down, 2
the
up, 2 up.
lefts. Now, another
Oh.
good thing is that there's going to be cars on the that are lapped down in between those that stayed and those that came. Granted, the cars that are lapped down also came in and took tires, so that's probably not really a benefit. More of, the lap cars can maybe be a little bit slower, but they're going to have fresh tires to also bull through these guys anyway.
Yeah, but how many cars are lapped down?
I didn't get the count, but I think it's from maybe the 67 to the 55 right there.
Oh, that's a lot of cars that
It
these
is,
guys
and
are
then
gonna
you
have to
have
pass
these
through.
guys, but the tires are so worn. It's going to be an intense restart if you're Jericho and them that came and took tires, but also equally intense for Eli Brent, this number 8, who was kind of just cruising away with it, but now has to be feeling the pressure of trying to win your first ever Winston Cup Series race. Caution is out for the first time today at Rockingham. We'll go take a look at what happened in turn 22 between Laura Chung and the number 24 of Justin Zeidel. Well, Trey, it was not, driver error, and this one looks like a mechanical issue for Laura Chung as she comes off of 4 onto the front stretch. The car starts to brake right there. You can see right there, and even worse, it really just kind of dies on her, and Zeidel nowhere to go but into the back of the 9, and it causes this crash, which is going to change the whole outcome of this one.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder what exactly happened from the 9 car for it to just die off. I mean, Joe, we didn't see any smoke come out of it. We didn't see anything on the track itself, so it really makes you wonder what broke.
It does, and unfortunate because Laura Chung and Justin Zeidel both had moved up from poor qualifying results, and it's not going to be the race result they were looking for as both cars damaged. And for Laura Chung, she's fallen a lap or 2 down that number 9. We'll go take a look at this wreck in full speed. One more view. Here it is, off of 4. There's where it lets go, and it's just something weird in the mechanical aspect of that car.
Well, Joe, we'll have to come back next week, and you can let us know what happened.
if I can let you know what happened.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully,
true.
hopefully it's nothing we were trying.
What?
Nothing.
Well, Joe, what does this do for Eli Bright?
Oh man, well, it's bad for the red cars. Laura Chung involved in that crash. This red car, Eli Bright, was leading by about 3.5 seconds, and now he has a restart to deal with. And guys with fresher tires in the middle of the pack, it's gonna be a fun restart here in the Subway Ford at Rockingham. Can Eli Bright try and hold on for his first ever NASCAR Winston Cup Series victory? All right, Trey, 17 laps. It is going to be a thriller at Rockingham. At the moment when the yellow had come out, the times were off by about a second and a half, even 2 seconds in some instances. Can Eli Bright try and hang on? We're going to find out. No cars out from that. Laura Chung fell 2 laps down. We have a bunch of cars 1 lap down. Nathan Baird, Jack Haas, Jack Carter, Nathan Orman, Samet Oskin, Nathan Stapleton, and Roger Ray. They're all lapped down in the middle of the field. Nathan Baird is in between first and second place, Eli Bright and Jordan Stout. Chris Jericho was the first car off pit road tire season, 21st place. 20 cars stayed on the racetrack. But watch for Jericho, Lawrence, Matthew Burnett, Keyshawn Richardson, Lathan Strickland, Tim Gary, Mathis Wells, Anthony Hernandez, Evan Hunter, Noah Clifton, Luke Rainey, Hunter Reed, Zach Fitzwater Sr., and Ronald Kennington. They have fresh tires. They need to pass 28 or more cars in 17 laps. But once again, the times are off by a second to a second and a half for the front runners. The pace car is in. Eli Bright into the restart zone. How will the restart go? There's the green flag. We're back going. Well, that's what Eli wanted. Big gap.
Are you nervous?
For Eli, I am. Yeah, look at this back here.
Oh, this is a little sketchy.
Zidell is damaged on the outside, trying to get out of the way. Meanwhile, guys with tires. Jericho's on the inside. They are. Oh, look out!
Contact.
Yeah, Pez and all these others. Look at that. I think that started with Gary trying to bull these guys out of the way because they're on tires. They're trying to get up here as fast as possible. You can already see this is a mess back here with guys on worn tires. Here come the fresh tire guys like Jericho and Lawrence, all moving to the inside. Tim Gary, Mathis Wells, and others, but they need to get up to the front in a timely manner because there's not a lot of time left in this race. 15 to go at the line.
Before they get up front, Joe, they got to make sure they don't wreck their own cars.
That is true. Jericho up to 15th running order. He's 3.2 seconds back. There's Colin Teague falling back in the middle of the pack. Just so, this is a mess as they come up to and down the backstretch.
This is scary. I don't even know where I'd want to be right now.
Well, Eli has to be loving it. He's still half a second up. Oh, look out back there. Laura Chung, even with that damage, has fresh tires, and that just shows what tires mean. She is moving even with that damage.
This is crazy.
Jericho up to 12th place. 11th is right in front of him. That's Jay Randall, the 48. He gets down to block Nolan Lawrence. Jericho's leading a line of cars, parting the Red Sea, trying to move up. Oh!
I don't know if I'd want to be blocking these guys right now. They are cruising.
Jericho still gaining time on Eli Bright, 2.4 seconds. Eli still half a second up on Stout, but 13 to go. There might be too much time for Eli to win this race. He might need a yellow to take laps off of the board.
Oh, King is blocking.
Keegan is blocking Jericho. And look, if Jericho can't get by Keegan, there are cars that can get by Jericho here, like Lawrence and Gary and Mathis Wells. How good would it be if Mathis Wells could win for 40th place on the starting grid?
That would be something. He finally gets past them.
Look at Gary, 3 wide around the outside trying it.
Oh, there's
Collins. Oh, 3 wide. Jericho bowled Collins out of the way. Evans on the inside. Here comes Mathis Wells looking low on his teammate Jericho, but the 18 trying to get down. They have 11 laps to go, and this is a mess as it goes. Look how fast they're catching these guys.
Oh, this is going to be a big dive right here. Watch this. He's not going to, actually, he's going to stick behind him.
He's going to stick behind Riley Spurgeon because I think he knows there's enough time, right? As long as no one passes Chris Jericho, it looks like Mathis Wells.
Oh, look at the 20. The 20's there.
Wells to the inside. Jericho trying to find a way to keep clearing to one. Mathis Wells to the inside. And he'll get by Jericho as the first guy in charge. Look at Jericho around the outside. I think he just stood the gas and prayed. Oh! He almost ran into Kukulan there. It's still a fight between the JGR boys. 9 laps go. Here goes Fitzwater. And Anthony Hernandez could still keep DI in this fight. They're up to 3rd place now, going for 2nd on DeLello off turn 2.
18 goes to the inside. I think the one's on the inside of the 2.
Oh,
no,
Fitzy
not quite yet.
Dove it in. They're on to the back of Eli. And it's going to have to wait another week because Jericho moves low with 8 to go. The 18's out in front, and Eli Bright can do nothing but see the whole pack go on around him.
Wow, that was scary.
Oh, my gosh. And now can Jericho hold on? Keyshawn Richardson is up to 2nd. Evan Hunter is up to 3rd for MB2. Luke Rainey, out of nowhere, is inside the top 5 for that number 88 team.
Now, the real question is Jericho going to be able to pull away, or how much of his tires did he use up?
That's
using
true.
whatever line he could use.
Exactly, right? Because remember, he dove it around the top at one point. It was a mess at stages for that number 18. He's 4/10 up on Richardson last time by. This time, a little bit of a game for Keyshawn Richardson. We know the Roush cars are fast at a track like Rockingham. They won both races last season, and that was with Stout and with DeLello. Richardson trying to become the third different Roush driver to win a race at Rockingham in a row. Back around here, 5 laps remain for Chris Jericho and Keyshawn Richardson. And Trey, before the race started, what did we say about these two? They needed good runs because they're both outside the top 30 in points.
There was no difference in the distance between these two cars that last time by. Is going to be a different story coming off of 4 here. I mean, you know Jericho's good in high-pressure situations here, but is he going to be able to hold off this hard-charging 99?
That's a great question. 4 to go. He opened the gap that time, so the 18 found some pace that last lap. Keyshawn Richardson could not gain, but how slow is Justin Seidel? Because remember, he has damage, and he stayed out, so he's on worse tires. How slow is the 24? Can Jericho dispose of him quickly before the 99 can gain? 3 laps to go at the line for last season's champion Jericho. Looking to get back on top with a race victory here at Rockingham. The gap about stabilizing right there. There is a good bout for third shaping up. Evan Hunter has it. Luke Rainey, Fitzwater, Hernandez all want it. Lathan Strickland is there. Jericho dives on easily. Trey will get by Seidel. Coming back around to 2 to go. In effect, Seidel actually holding up Keyshawn Richardson.
Oh, I think...
Oh, Jericho! Oh! Oh, there's a bunch of pits. Keyshawn Richardson leads with 2 to go.
It makes you wonder if they didn't take fuel.
Yeah, it could have been that.
Because, I mean, less fuel, Joe. It's less weight in the car, the faster you'll go. Maybe they thought they were clean, and they weren't.
And Keyshawn Richardson so far is clean. Here's the white flag for the number 99. 1 lap to go at Rockingham. The Subway 400 has taken another twist in the outcome of this run. Roush swept the races here last season with Jordan Stout and Zachary DeLello. Now they're a turn away from 3 straight with 3 different drivers. Checkered flag is up, and Keyshawn Richardson wins his first of the season at Rockingham.
That
I
was not an ending I was expecting.
I don't think anyone expected anything that happened, Trey, in those final 20 laps.
Can we talk about Lathan Strickland finishing 3rd?
I know, right? He, out of nowhere, right, finished right behind Evan Hunter for 2nd place, and
I thought Jericho had it till the end.
yeah.
I thought Eli had it till the end.
And there were a lot of cars that looked like they had run dry on some sort of fuel or some sort of issue.
I mean, you've got to think, because we literally watched everyone take tires,
Yeah.
but I don't remember seeing any fuel guys out on pit road.
And it's got to be that where they were like, we're good on fuel, we don't have to take it.
They probably thought the cautions they were going to be able to save enough.
Yep.
But, I mean, that makes you think then, you know, if we went green, there was no way they were going to make it.
But you also think, Trey, fuel mileage is, you know, kind of based off lap time. You put on fresh tires, you run much faster than you would if you wear those tires out over a long green flag run.
This is, wow.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what to say.
One of the craziest races of the season we're ever going to see here in the 2002 season. And it ends with Roush racing on top. Keyshawn Richardson claiming victory here in the Subway 400 at Rockingham. Evan Hunter ends up with a 2nd place for MB2. Once again, continuing their string of really good races so far in this season. Lathan Strickland started on pole at the first 11 or so laps, fell back, but still gets a top 3 in that number 15. The rookie Hunter Reed ends up in 4th place. Great run for him. And Noah Clifton for PPI gets a top 5. Another really good run there. Nolan Lawrence, 6th place, a good run for him. 7th goes to Matthew Burnett. Zachary DeLello ends up in 8th, so 3 of the Roush cars top 8. Riley Spurgeon to 9th, and Eli Bright still got a top 10 out of it. It's definitely not going to be any consolation for how the race ended for him, but he gained a lot of spots because a lot of drivers possibly ran short on fuel there at the end of this one. Conrad Evans ends up in 11th. Mitchell Collins in 12th. Then you have Atkins. There's Stout, the other Roush car. Brett Seaver and Jay Randall and Keegan Thompson all finished together in 15th, 16th, and 17th. That was the best I think any of them ran all day long. How about Logan Williams, Jose Mills, and Jordan Edwards was basically 41st, 40th, 42nd all race long. He gets a top 20, that number 83. And then we look down here, and the heartbreak continues for Chris Jericho this season. He entered way low in points, and he'll leave still low in points. He had to pit for fuel, and he went from leading the race with under 5 laps to go to 29th place at the end. Luke Rennie, the same story for him, ends up in 30th. Ronald Kennington and Tim Gary, Anthony Hernandez and Mathis Wells were on that as well. Fitzwater was there. Sebastian Kukulon was there, the number 29. So a lot of drivers that thought that they had the field to make it to the end and were going for it at the end ran dry, and a lot of them, which were going to be really good storylines, end up in the back of the field as we look at the points, and it's still shaken up as we are 3 races in, and there's been no rhyme or reason for how these races have gone. It's been craziness from the get-go here in the 2002 season. So Trey, another topsy-turvy ending, and it ends with Keyshawn Richardson in victory lane this time.
Yeah, that was a very unique. I don't even know what to say, Joe.
You're at a loss for words.
I'm truly at a loss for words. So much happened in that last 20 laps. I don't know how long it's going to take me to recover from this.
Well, I hope you can recover soon, Trey, because the next race on the schedule last season was a mess with this type of stuff. The Budweiser 400 at Riverside.
Oh, good. I can't wait. Didn't we have a car upside down last time?
We had a car upside down. We had payback, right? Keegan Thompson got stuffed into the tire barriers. We had a car win without a hood, so.
Oh, that's right. It was wasn't it Edwards?
It was Edwards, yeah.
Well, we'll see if we can do it again, I guess.
We will see if something like that might happen again at Riverside. It's our first road course race of the Winston Cup Series season. We'll see how it unfolds, but so far, 3 races, 3 different winners, and it's Keyshawn Richardson on top here at Rockingham for the 3rd straight time for Roush Racing. Thanks for tuning in to JRTV's presentation of the Subway 400 at Rockingham. For Trey Bardo, I'm Joe Rakowski. Thanks for watching. So long. Until next week, from Riverside, have a good day.